In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space.
Andy Harris said that you didn't adequately convince enough people to vote for the bill. The House Freedom Caucus.
You mean after this speech?
After this speech, that's what you
I
said.
said, well, what do we see at the voters? I think it was a great talk. It wasn't a speech. We talked about things. Who do you work for?
Notice.
Who?
Notice.
I don't even know what the hell that is. You gotta get yourself a real job. Let me tell you.
Also includes MAGA baby savings accounts for children that are born before January 1st, 2024, under 8 years old, U.S. citizens, and have at least one parent with a valid Social Security number. And when this tax provision becomes law, the child, if the parents seek to do this, will be set up with a savings account. Essentially, it's a 401k for a newborn baby, and child's relatives, their parents, can contribute up to $5,000 per year of after-tax dollars annually to that account. And then later in the baby's life, at age 25, savings account holders can withdraw up to the full balance of the account. Upon reaching 30, the account holders can access the full balance of the account for any purpose desired. So it's a great initiative for new parents.
Good morning, Rapid Nation. Hey, President Donald Trump makes an announcement. If you didn't know this already, but he's decided to continue the national emergency of Iraq and extend Executive Order 13303 that was established in May 22nd of 2003. Now this isn't good news, obviously, but with all the great things happening with Iraq right now, he decided to extend it for 1 year national emergency with respect to the stabilization of Iraq, declared Executive Order 13303, and notice shall be published Federal Register and transmitted to Congress, along with these other executive orders, that 132290 and 13315, that was also placed back and established in 2003, 2004, 2007. So not great news. And this is why I believe, I stated in my previous videos, Iran, Iraq, same country, until a deal is done with Iran and the U.S. negotiations on their nuclear program, until that deal is done, Iraq is going to be get punished indirectly, and held back. Now, does this mean Iraq can't move forward with their currency, with their monetary reform? No, they surely can, and we're seeing a lot of progress within Iraq, but you all need to know this. So follow your gut, but this isn't great news, but we've been living with Executive Order 13303 since 2003. So, like I said, it's all indirectly associated, with Iran. So there you have it. I mean, it is what it is. So, stay rapid, focus on yourself, focus on building assets, a third stream of income, and, things will pop when you least expect it. Give me thumbs up, See you on the next video. Stay rabid.
Frankie, go ahead. What is President Trump's favorite food? Well, President Trump loves a lot of different foods, but I think his favorite is probably steak. I've had steak with him on many occasions, and he likes to eat a big, beautiful steak. Do you like steak, Frankie? Yes? Okay. Jack, nice to see you. I like your hat. You're welcome. Would you like to ask a question?
What's the state of the border?
What's the state of the border? I can assure you the border is the most secure it has ever been in the history of our country. And I think your dad works for the Homeland Security Council, so that's a very apropos question. And your dad's doing a great job securing the border. Hazel Jane, what a beautiful name. Would you like to ask a question? Okay.
Actually, can you come back to me?
Sure, I can come back to you. I'd be happy to. Bobby Lynn?
How many people has he fired?
How many people has he fired? Thus far, actually, we have not had anyone fired, with the exception of one individual who did leave their job. But we have a great team here so far. So good. Thank you for the question.
We're repealing and rolling back over $500 billion in funding for the radical Green New Deal policies from Biden's so-called Inflation Reduction Act. We call it the Inflation Act. We're ending Biden's war on American energy. We're banning Medicaid dollars from going to transgender surgeries for minors. We're canceling Biden's student loan repayment program. We're increasing university endowment tax for these big woke institutions. We're revoking tax exempt status for nonprofits that materially support terrorism. We're doubling the jail time for leaks of confidential taxpayer information. We're eliminating big businesses' ability to engage in woke PR campaigns to facilitate refundability for green energy projects. We're incentivizing federal workforce to be at-will employees, and we're repealing Biden's disastrous EV mandate.
Breaking. Doge, in collaboration with the US Census Bureau, has saved $16.5 million by eliminating 5 outdated federal surveys. These surveys, totaling 493 pages of questions, were deemed wasteful and had little to no impact on policy or action. US Senate. Waiting for a senator to speak. Today, cryptocurrency regulation bill. Foreign Relations CMTE. Secretary of State Rubio testifies on 2028 budget request. Now tuning into Senate hearings, the Senate is about to vote on cryptocurrency regulation vote. This is needed as our currencies are Tier 2 currency. And this regulation covers Tier 2 cryptocurrency Ripple XRP, which is used for cross-border payments, not tier as in a segment of people, tier as in a bank's description of money. It's all coming together. A to Z dreams.
Here's a headline you don't see every day. Homeless shelter executives make millions. If irony paid rent, New York City's homeless problem would be solved overnight. One nonprofit head paid himself $1 million in a year. He's making more money than most CEOs, and they at least pretend to care about their customers. Another company used $11.6 million in city funds to pay a security company it owned, with executives pocketing nearly $400,000 from that arrangement. You gotta love the irony, making sure no one steals money from the homeless while they're busy stealing money from the homeless. If you want to see real hustlers in New York City, skip Times Square and check out the contracts with City Hall.
Not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about
right to
it
you?
looks
Does
like
that
that
seem right to you?
looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to
Does that seem
bring
right to you? Yes or no?
those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
Ask your question. Yes or no?
Not for
Racist
me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work
like
and the
racist
amount
laws,
of
then?
savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to
that
ask
is
a question.
difficult for you
Answer
to
my
answer.
question. No, you answer my
level of ongoing taxpayer.
No, you should own your property free and clear. I think to say that someone that's been in their house for 35 years just has to keep ponying up money, that is not. You don't own your home if that's the case. So yes, of course, I'd like to see people be able to owe free and clear. And it's interesting because it's like if I go to Best Buy and buy a flat screen TV and put it on the wall, I got to pay a sales tax on it, right? But I don't keep paying tax on it every year. I mean, it's just that's not how we do things. It's like, okay, if you're going to tax something, you tax it at the transaction and then let people actually enjoy their private property free and clear of the government. So that, I think, is the vision. That's the philosophical insight. And if you think about our founding fathers, when they were proposing the Constitution, in one of the Federalist Papers, I think it was Hamilton, he's writing about, because, there was opposition to the Constitution. They were making a more powerful federal government than under the Articles of Confederation, and people worried about taxation. And they didn't have, obviously, a 16th Amendment, which eventually came on income tax, but basically you were not effectively allowed to do any direct taxation. It had to be indirect, meaning you couldn't just, you could theoretically just apply like a tax on land federally, but it'd have to be a portion among the states, so practically it could never work. So basically, Hamilton's saying, look, the indirect taxes are the most effective, efficient way to raise revenue for the government, because they basically allow the individual to choose how much tax they want to pay based on how much they're consuming. And there's a security, there's a protection against excessive tax in that regard, because if the government raises consumption tax too much, it kills the golden goose, because then it causes people to stop purchasing as much. But he said taxing property is one of the worst forms of taxation, because people don't have a choice in the matter, and you're just basically drilling these folks over and over again on tax. And so it's an issue that I think's pinched a lot of people, but philosophically, it was not the way that the federal government was constructed. Now, I understand local, there was a history of it, and that's kind of been the norm. But man, you talk about family of four having the median home price that is purchased in Florida. That's a pretty hefty tax bill right there when you come in after buying a home. When you consider what the average income is throughout the United States of America, the math just doesn't add up. And I think that's why people want relief.
Syria running value at breakneck speed after sanctions were lifted. Does that mean that Iraq pretty much has pretty much iridescent, because Syria is hoping to go in that same basket that Iraq is positioning, and I think that is part of the reason you're seeing that push by Trump. Drop sanctions, bring them into the fold as quickly as possible, Syrian leadership, because I think he sees this as an opportunity to add another one to the plate. I don't know for certain, but it definitely appears that way.
Here's a very long one coming from over on the Twitch side.
Yeah, you never could have pulled that in YouTube. From Texas. No, that's the one. I haven't read this one, but let's read this one. Well, folks, I've received notifications. Oh, this is from Snake. That we are in 24 to 48-hour window from 3 sources, Europe, China, or Treasury. I, along with a few brokers and bankers, attempting to confirm anyone or all of these notifications. I've never heard that this many indications all at the same period of time. But one notification was for tomorrow night was to drop dead timeline for this to go be safe. Well, that certainly fits with bankers telling me they expect sometime between Wednesday and Saturday. I'm just not going to let myself get so excited, because bankers are going to be pretty much the last ones to know. They just know they got to prepare.
Bassem Al-Azraji on X, translated from Arabic by Google. Reuters. Washington gave al-Sudani a period of several days to announce the dissolution of the Popular Mobilization Forces. If the crowd is not dissolved, Netanyahu will adopt the bombing operations. Al-Sudani pledged not to side with Iran and will not be able to procrastinate. Al-Shatri conveyed the White House's message to dissolve the Popular Mobilization Forces. Is this clear enough? Al-Sudani is not able to procrastinate. Bombing starts if... That was posted by A2Z Dreams. Ariel posted on X. 8:48 a.m. 21st May 2025. The Golden Dome. What is not disclosed? This state-of-the-art missile defense shield will be multi-purpose. The Golden Dome, discussed on Black channels and other obscure mediums of information exchange, is engineered to counter non-conventional threats, including those originating from unacknowledged domains classified as extra-dimensional or non-physical. This goes well beyond conventional warfare. You all have to understand, the government has not yet officially disclosed extra-dimensional entities that use ley lines to travel. I did blog about this on my Patreon. The Golden Dome includes a covert psychotronic defense layer to neutralize attempts at mass psychological manipulation or cognitive interference, whether from foreign adversaries or non-human sources. The system is designed to monitor and interact with interdimensional rifts or portals, which are hypothesized to exist at specific geospatial coordinates. Ley lines are invisible, geomagnetic alignments of energy that cross the Earth, connecting points of heightened electromagnetic or spiritual significance, often described as the planet's energy grid. They are pathways where natural and esoteric forces converge, facilitating anomalous phenomena. The Golden Dome space-based interceptors are equipped with gravitic sensors capable of detecting microfluctuations in space-time. These sensors are paired with AI-driven anomaly detection systems to map and catalog potential rift events. Supposedly, a classified 2022 Space Force document assessed through secure back channels describes a program called Chronocentry, which integrates gravitic sensors into low Earth orbit satellites. The document notes 3 detected anomalies in 2024 near ley line convergences in the Nevada Desert, the Bermuda Triangle, and the Bering Sea. But this is besides the more geopolitical reason as to why this is being built, as I suspect that Donald Trump has something else in store that involves Israel that will come into play once disclosure ramps up and files are declassified that paints Israel as a state behind many atrocities. I will cover this with deeper insights on my other account, but for now, we are just getting through the preparations for a much broader play coming down the pike, because we will need certain security in place as a country once certain things are ready for release. Trump just flipped the global investment switch. US tariffs equals market shock. S&P drops. Capital runs. Where to? Europe. European defense spending is booming. Iron metal up 235%. Smaller firms thriving. Why? Trump's pressure on NATO plus fear of China. Dollars for missiles, not memes. Asset managers like Schroders and DWS suddenly winning. Active funds outperforming passive for the first time in years. This is your financial reset, not just gold and XRP. Capital flows are shifting. US deficit 1.9 trillion and rising. Dollar wobbling. Euro watch for strength. Currency revaluation is in motion. Passive US high-tech heavy index losing edge. Trump's tariffs could be the domino that triggers a new liquidity map. Smart money is already moving. Vietnam and Iraq now sit on new trade routes. Europe rearms. US tightens. China counters. The chessboard resets. And this isn't just about stock tickers. It's about who writes the rules. This isn't globalism ending. This is capital realignment. Reuters. Gold Telegraph on X. Breaking news. The European Central Bank is warning that gold markets could pose a threat to the Eurozone's financial stability in the event of geopolitical stress due to demand for physical settlement. Right on schedule. Majid posted on X, 3:07 a.m. May 21st, 2025. That's Benjamin Netanyahu 2.0. The real one already in YMCA. Get it? Jib, jib. Praying we just move forward, and this is a movie. Because it's a movie. Look at this damn movie. Forwarded from The General. Breaking. Jeffrey Epstein's former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, is calling on Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to release all information they have on Epstein. Majid posted on X, 2:58 a.m. May 21st, 2025. Alert. Wow. Headlines in the Arab world. The Iranian octopus arms and legs were completely cut off, except for Iraq. Iraq must decide whether to stand with America and Israel, or with Khamenei's regime. Iran threatened Iraq that if it cooperates with America and Israel, I will strike you myself. President Trump also threatened Iraq, if you want to remain an octopus leg, I will cut you up myself. Bert Gonzalez. This is the problem and solution with the RV. You were right about Sudani. Don't like it at first, but it's become apparent over time. And now Washington makes billions in deals with Kyrgyzstan, and Baghdad is pissed. I don't believe this was an accident. Majid, thanks brother. I'm glad you found what I said is true now. But the current Shiite government in Iraq will be taken down. You know how easy it will be? Take down all the militias? Just bomb the fuck out of them. Every corrupted governor in Iraq will piss their pants because nobody there to protect them anymore. From the Iraqis' anger. Bert, you're right. Trump has spoken on this, which for whatever reason May dinar gurus won't report. Iran militias and Iran sympathizers in the Iraqi government. Trump basically said, get them out or we will. Sudani has revealed himself by his delay. Get the corruption out. Majid comments, the digital dinar is already released, waiting for USA to flip the switch. But Trump ain't gonna flip it while these corruptors in Iraq are still in power. Because the 2025 budget in Iraq was opened, these corruptors will take every penny out of it. That means Iraq will never stand up back again, and every contract was signed for investments will vanish away. Look who else signed the bill on his title. Chuck Grassley, President of the Senate pro tempore. He had to put a line through an official document. That's not how it's done. Trump is not a messy person. What's up? Chuck Grassley. And underneath his signature, it says, Vice President of the United States and President of the Senate pro tempore. I don't know what that means. Interesting. Disclosed.tv, 5:10 p.m., 5/20/25. Just in. US has obtained new intelligence suggesting that Israel is making preparations to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. CNN. Forwarded from JR. Anyone wondering how the First Lady can have prostate cancer? I'm asking for a friend. For some reason, they still don't get it. Oh my gosh. ABC News. Even they know. ABC News, let's see. Former First Lady Michelle Obama has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that is metastasized to the bone. Her office announced this weekend. Obama, 61, left office with her husband as the only same-sex presidential couple in U.S. history. Here's a look at Michelle's health since her husband left office. ABCnews.com. A look at former First Lady Michelle Obama's health in wake of prostate cancer diagnosis. 589 Bill, posted on X, 10:49 a.m., May 21st, 2025. The border was the back door. They didn't open the border for compassion. They opened it for control, destabilize the nation, crush the middle class, flood the system, replace the people who would welcome a financial reset built on freedom. You think it's just about immigration? No, it's a firewall against accountability. lead in chaos, then claim you need emergency powers to clean it up. Create the wound, sell the cure. They knew a monetary shift was coming. Gold, trade realignment, currency resets. But that only works if the people are unified and sovereign. So they shattered that first by design. Joe Biden didn't do this, obviously. The ones behind him did. They used him like a paper mask. The auto pen was their real signature. This was a quiet coup dressed up as policy. Why would a government let in unvetted foreign nationals, drain resources, collapse cities, unless the goal was collapse itself? Every wave over the border was a deliberate delay of America's reset. Can't realign the financial system if your house is on fire. But they miscalculated. They thought we wouldn't notice. They thought they could finish the swap before we flipped the switch. The monetary reset is coming, but only if we seal the back door, clean out the infiltrators, and return the system to the people. This was war, and now it's our move. And Donald Trump has commented on his truth page. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders where criminals of all kinds, shapes and sizes can flow into our country at will. It wasn't his idea to open the border and almost destroy our country and cost us hundreds of billions of dollars to get criminals out of our country and go through the process we are going through now. It was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired and that took over the auto pen. They stole the presidency of the United States and put us in great danger. This is treason at the highest level. They did it to destroy our country. The Joe Biden that everybody knew would never allow drug dealers, gang members, and the mentally insane to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted. All anyone has to do is look up his record. Something very severe should happen to these treasonous thugs that want to destroy our country but couldn't, because I came along. Make America great again. Forwarded from Cat Turd, and there it is. Nope. Breaking. Democrats are now demanding that President Trump and his DOJ shut down all investigations, including the probe into the auto pen pardons against Joe Biden, his family, and his administration, after it was revealed that Biden has cancer. Kaja Callis posted on X, May 20, 2025, 4:18 p.m. Today we took the decision to lift our economic sanctions on Syria. We want to help the Syrian people rebuild a new, inclusive and peaceful Syria. The EU has always stood by Syrians throughout the last 14 years and will keep doing so. EU to lift economic sanctions on Syria to aid recovery of war-torn country. Move comes 1 week after Trump announced all US sanctions on Syria would be lifted. The EU has agreed to lift economic sanctions on Syria in an effort to help the war-torn country recover after the fall of the Bashar al-Assad regime. After the decision by EU foreign ministers on Tuesday, the EU's chief diplomat Kaja Callas wrote on X, "We want to help the Syrian people rebuild a new, inclusive and peaceful Syria." The move comes 1 week after Donald Trump announced that all US sanctions on Syria would be lifted after he met the Syrian president Ahmad al-Sharaa and told the former jihadist he had an enormous opportunity. Speaking before the decision was formally approved, Callas told reporters there had been some very intense discussions about lifting sanctions. She said there are worries about whether the Syrian government is going in the right direction, but I think we don't have a choice. We either give them the possibility to stabilize the country or we don't do that, suggesting that failure to lift the sanctions could push Syria down a path similar to Afghanistan. After the Taliban returned to power in August 2021, Afghanistan's economy collapsed as the country's central bank assets remained frozen, leaving ordinary people facing huge price increases for basic goods such as flour, rice and oil. The EU decision came as the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Syria could be weeks away from another civil war of epic proportions as he called for support to the transitional leadership. He told a US Senate hearing, "It is our assessment that, frankly, the transitional authority, given the challenges they are facing, are maybe weeks, not many months away from potential collapse. and a full-scale civil war of epic proportions, basically the country splitting up. The EU dismissed suggestions. Its decision was a response to US policy. Just weeks after Shirah's forces ousted the Assad regime, the EU in February suspended sanctions targeting Syria's energy and transport industries and eased restrictions on 4 banks and an airline company in an attempt to get more money flowing through the financial system. Some member states argued those measures were not sufficient to stabilize the Syrian economy, but EU officials have been concerned about an upsurge in violence, with deadly clashes between Syrian security forces and fighters loyal to the Assad regime. In March, more than 1,000 people, including 754 civilians, were killed during 2 days of clashes between security forces and fighters loyal to the former regime, according to an independent monitoring group. Last month, at least 16 people died after an attack on a security checkpoint by unknown gunmen and an attack on a Druze-majority suburb in Damascus. Relations between the Syrian government and the Druze community, an Arab religious minority of about 500,000 people, are already tense over negotiations about a future Syrian state. The EU has called on Syria's government to ensure a peaceful and inclusive transition. Germany's Foreign Minister, Johann Wadephul, said in a written statement, the European Union wants to make a fresh start with Syria, but we also expect an inclusive policy within the country that includes all population groups and religious groups. Posted by The Guardian. Sleep in peace tonight and stop overthinking. God is taking care of everything. If you believe, Amen.